Hi everyone, I'm Dave Menapace. I'm a real estate investor and an agent with Realty Executives. And today we're going to talk about the state of the market, how challenging it is for a buyer to find a home, and 4 different ways that you might be able to find your next property. So with that, let's jump right in. What a lot of buyers are finding is that anytime they find a home that they really like, usually they've found it on Zillow or Redfin or maybe Realtor.com, they'll go to an open house and they'll be competing with 20 or 30 other buyers. And a lot of times, even an offer over asking by 20 or 30% still isn't getting it done. So what we're going to do is outline 4 different ways that you might be able to find your next property and cut out some of that competition. And I hate to break it to you, it does take a little bit more work than shopping on Zillow, Redfin, or Realtor.com, but it might help you find your next house. So the first way is by looking at recently sold properties, but maybe not too recent, maybe properties that have sold in the last 2 to 3 years. And from there, calling up the owner, looking up their phone number online, and seeing if they have any interest in selling. What you're going to start to find is that there are some buyers or some sellers, that bought houses 2, 3, 4 years ago, and they do want to take advantage of the market and that quick appreciation that their home has had. And this might be one of those ways that you can find your next house. And in fact, we recently found one up in Maine for a vacation rental using this very strategy. The next one is by looking at a property that might have some form of distress. So in this case, it might be a house where there is a tax lien on it, or maybe the house is physically in distress. So in that case, if somebody has a tax lien, it might be an indication that they have some financial issues, and you could help to solve those financial issues by buying their home for them at a competitive price. If the house is physically distressed, maybe it needs to be rehabbed or updated, this might also be an opportunity. Typically, I'll look for peeling paint or a roof that clearly needs to be replaced, and I'll just knock on the door and see if the seller is at all interested in selling their home. The third way that you might be able to find a property is by looking on the MLS. Have your agent pull a list of any house that was expired or canceled, meaning it never ended up selling. A lot of times this might happen because the house was misrepresented on the MLS, or it could be one of those situations where for a handful of people, that house didn't look like something that they want to buy. It ended up expiring, the listing expired, and it could be a perfect house for you. So a lot of times those sellers were no longer considering selling their home because it didn't sell when they went through the hassle of it 3 or 4 years ago. This could be a perfect opportunity for you to re-engage that seller and see if they're at all interested in selling. The last one could be by calling up the town and asking for a list of any houses that are in probate. A lot of times a house may belong to somebody who has passed away and it gets left to a family member or loved one, and they don't need the house, they don't want it. It might be an opportunity for you to make an offer, and those lists are publicly available. And a lot of times, those houses take a lot longer to eventually make their way onto market. If you can engage the new owner or whoever that house might be getting left to and ask to purchase that house for them, you could be relieving them of a painful issue and finding a house without the competition as if it were found on Zillow, Realtor, or Redfin. So I hope these methods helped, and I'd love to hear your feedback.